The mobile marketing industry is a rich and vibrant ecosystem of thousands, tens of thousands of companies from all around the world that have come together to figure out how to leverage mobile to connect, engage, and influence customers along the customer journey. And this movie will frame up the industry structure and landscape so that you can have a good idea who the players are, what they're looking to accomplish, and where you might fit in. There are countless ways to visualize the mobile marketing industry to understand how all the pieces come together. But in my experience, there is no single way to truly explain the richness of the industry. So, throughout the rest of this video, I'm going to use two different visualizations to help explain how all the pieces come together within the mobile marketing industry landscape. Let's first understand the primary characters of the mobile marketing industry, the actors in our play. They are the consumers, the marketers, the sellers, the enablers, and the associates. The consumer is a person somewhere between the ages of 13 and 122 and a half years of age. And as Maslow taught us in his hierarchy of needs, this person has needs, wants, and desires, including the need for physiological satisfaction, safety, belonging, self-esteem, and self-actualization. But with the rapid rise of the internet and connected devices over the last decade, a new need has arrived: connectivity. People are looking to have these needs, wants, and desires met, and in order to do so, they're interacting directly with every player in the industry through their mobile devices and connected devices. The marketers, also commonly referred to as brands, manufacturers, and retailers, are people and organizations that create the goods and services that consumers need, want, and desire. The marketers fund all the marketing that we encounter in our daily lives. It's estimated that the average consumer is exposed to over 5,000 marketing messages a day, so consumers are inundated. Marketing agencies are often placed in the marketing category since they represent spending on behalf of the marketer. The sellers are people and organizations responsible for all the media and advertising that is out there in the world. What I mean by media is any physical or digital service or experience that is presented to the consumers that are not owned and controlled by the marketer. There are two types of sellers: media owners, which means they own media like a website or newspaper, and advertising solution providers, the companies that make it possible for marketers to pay for and place their paid marketing message in the media owner's media. It's worth noting that marketers have media as well. It's called owned media, which includes their websites, retail storefronts, sell sheets, product packaging, etc. And now, because of social media, consumers also have their own media too, and marketers, through the likes, shares, etc., must earn their place in the consumer's media stream. This is called earned media. So you can see the seller space of the industry is very crowded. In fact, media has exploded over the years. The enablers are all the technology companies that make the final end-to-end interactive mobile experience happen across every stage of the customer journey. These include messaging companies, website and application development companies, aggregators, and carriers, and so many more. Really, there is an infinite number of players, many of which we'll discuss in some detail throughout the rest of this course. The associates represent everyone else: the lawyers, trade associations and regulators, chip and database manufacturers, and handset manufacturers. In our increasingly complex digitally led society, many of these companies play one or more of all of the above roles. For example, the Weather Channel, the U.S.'s second largest cable company, is a marketer, a seller, and an enabler. Typically, in order to classify a player, you'll use their primary source of revenues as a guide. So in the case of the Weather Channel, they are considered a seller, since they generate the majority of their revenues by selling and enabling advertising within the media under their control. Now let's look into how these players all work together. The consumer is on the top of the industry food chain, since they are driving all the industry through their spending. The next level of power in the marketing industry sits with the marketers. Marketers want to talk and learn from each other and provide their goods and services to the consumers. The sellers are the next up in line. The sellers want to sell their media inventory and advertising solutions to the marketers, often through agencies. Then comes the enablers, who want to enable consumers directly and sell their technology and services to sellers and marketers. Finally, associates, who want to represent and support consumers and sell their services to enablers, sellers, and marketers. Say, I told you that the market was complex, and in fact, it's much like a rainforest with many tiered layers of life. The second way to visualize the industry is by going deep into each of the individual marketer, seller, enabler, and associate ecosystems. For example, let's consider the seller ecosystem. As an illustration, here's a diagram of all the players that make up the media and advertising industry. On one side, you have the marketer, and on the other, you have the consumer. And in the middle, you have all of the various companies and their capabilities, people, processes, and technology needed to make up modern-day advertising. We'll discuss how advertising works in more detail later in the course. There you go. That's the mobile industry in a nutshell. Every player, like in the rainforest, is fighting for survival and reward. Keep in mind, the greatest path towards success is through collaboration. Therefore, figure out what you do best and find partners to work with so that you can meet the needs of your customers.